Reye, C. Devarim, Deuteronomy 11:26 to 16:17. Haftarah, Yeshayahu, Isaiah 53 to 55:5. Brit Hadashah suggestive reading, 1 Yochanan, 1 John 4:1 through 6. Re'eh Anochi noten lifnechem hayom bracha ukalala. See, I'm setting before you today a blessing and a curse. Introduction. Torah. A blessing and a curse. What is a blessing? A blessing is not a reward provided for required behavior, but may be the positive outcomes from good choices. Adonai always wants us to have a blessed life. Our Father in heaven gives us instructions with positive natural outcomes when we listen and apply the divine instructions. It is because of Adonai's love for us that he gives us guidance that leads to desired outcomes. What is a curse? A curse is not a magical evil intention that causes punishment for disobedience. It is the negative natural outcomes of bad choices. Moshe describes the results of our actions with the same intent as Adonai, to promote the natural consequences of obedience and identify the potential negative results of our own foolish actions. While the rain falls on everyone, the wise one carries an umbrella when expecting rain. The curse is not a punishment for not carrying an umbrella. It is a natural consequence of a lack of foresight. As an example could be that of Hurricane Katrina. It was not a punishment, but the failure to prepare the levee for a hurricane was the natural consequence of levee failure. Some call it a curse. We provide maintenance for ourselves and our vehicles, not for fear of Adonai, but because there are negative consequences for allowing each to fail. I am not cursed when I experience problems caused by my own failure to be wise. I am blessed when Adonai provides despite my own inadequate actions. Haftarah, traditional and messianic. Messianic perspective. Most messianic believers in the Brit Hadashah look to Yeshua, Jesus, as the prophesied suffering Messiah found in Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 53. While this chapter can be seen as about Israel, there are other suffering Messiah portions that can be specifically identified with Yeshua. In Micah, it says, "But you, Bethlehem, near Ephrath, so small among the clans of Yehuda, out of you will come forth to me the future ruler of Israel, whose origins are far in the past, back in ancient times." In Yeshayahu it says, "Who believes our report? To whom is the arm of Adonai revealed? For before him he grew up like a young plant, like a root out of dry ground. He was not well formed or especially handsome. We saw him, but his appearance did not attract us. People despised and avoided him, a man of pains, well acquainted with illness. Like someone from whom people turn their faces, he was despised. We did not value him. In fact, it was our diseases he bore, our pains from which he suffered. Yet we regarded him as punished, stricken, and afflicted by God. But he was wounded because of our crimes, crushed because of our sins. The disciplining that makes us whole fell on him, and by his bruises we are healed. The next chapter can be a continuation of this, but it is different in some ways. The Messianic perspective sometimes is seen in 54 as well, while others see both as referring to a prophecy about Israel. While 54 starts out with "Sing, barren woman who has never had a child," it also says, "For you will spread out to the right and the left. Your descendants will possess the nations and inhabit the desolated cities," which is seen by some as prophecy for the Israelites. Since scriptural evidence does not support the idea that Messiah Yeshua has descendants, it is talking about something else. In chapter 54 it says, starting with verse 7, "Briefly I abandon you, but with great compassion I am taking you back. I was angry for a moment and hid my face from you, but with everlasting grace I have compassion on you, says Adonai your Redeemer. For me, this is like Noah's flood. Just as I swore that no flood like Noah's would ever again be covered the earth, so now I swear that never again will I be angry with you or rebuke you." Brit Hadashah, Neuma, NC, Wind, Spirit, from the Lexham Analytical Lexicon of the Septuagint, Lexham Press, 2012. Dear friends, don't trust every spirit. On the contrary, test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. Here is how you recognize the Spirit of God. Every spirit which acknowledges that Yeshua the Messiah came as a human being is from God, and every spirit which does not acknowledge Yeshua is not from God. That's from 1 John verse 1 to verse 3. Complete Jewish Bible. Conclusion. The scriptures call obedience with positive outcomes a blessing, and disobedience with negative outcomes a curse. But there is another kind of blessing called chesed, unconditional loving kindness, which shows in the redemption of Adonai through our Messiah Yeshua. In 1 Yochanan, John, we are advised to recognize the good spirits by knowing those that support Messiah Yeshua as being from God. This week, look to Messiah Yeshua for redemption. Have a Shabbat Shalom.